great speakers, and I'm proud to be here representing ATL, the Education Union. And I'm just going to start by repeating a theme of many of our speakers. But I'm going to refer you to two disputes that we haven't heard about today. I'm talking about the thousands of members of Unite, GMB and USDOR who have balloted for strike action at Unilever, an industrial giant, because of its attack on their pension. I'm talking about the thousands of workers at Ford, where Unite have left talks in preparation for a ballot because of their attack on pensions. And I say to you, like so many of my predecessors here on this platform, yes, this is a campaign for fair pensions for all. You've been given some fantastic stats today. Here's your last one. Last year, this government subsidised private sector pensions, private sector pension schemes to the tune of £38 billion. £38 billion, that's 12 billion more than they paid out to the public sector for their pensions. Most of that, colleagues, friends, goes to the wealthier members of occupational pension schemes. Do you know, I go around broadcasting studios and I'm often asked, why are you being so selfish? What they mean is, why don't you share, why don't teachers, nurses and other public sector workers share the misery of all those private sector workers who have no occupation pensions at all? That, friends, is economic lunacy. Because the question is, who pays for this private sector pension mess? I do, you do, we all do. The taxpayer pays because they have to provide the state benefits to elderly people who are in pensioner poverty. It's madness, and if our public sector schemes are dragged down to that level, the benefits bill in years to come will be completely unaffordable. And I say to you, and you know, like all of you and all the members you represent, ATL members are not selfish. Why is it that all of them who are near retirement and know full well that the government has caved in to the extent of giving them protection against the cut in pensions, why is it that they're on strike here today? And you know, it's not because of their pension, it's because they fear for the future of the teaching profession. They know that youngsters facing horrendous graduate debt are going to be deterred from entering to the teaching profession when it suffers a 3% pay cut in the form of these contributions. They know that experienced good teachers will be deterred from the extra contributions that they would have to pay if they entered school and college leadership. It's just nonsense, friends. So I say to you today, ATL never was and is never going to be gung-ho militant. You know that this is the first dispute which has led us to national industrial action in our 127-year history. And I say to you that this day and our campaign has one purpose alone, and that is to force this government to improve its proposals. proposals for our pension schemes. They know that experienced good teachers will be deterred from the extra contributions that they would have to pay if they entered school and college leadership. It's just nonsense, friends. So I say to you that this day and our campaign has one purpose alone, and that is to force this government to improve its proposals for our pension schemes. The prospect of this action has forced the government to make its first half-decent proposals. But friends, it was too little and it was too late. And it leaves us still needing to pay more, work longer and get less. That's why today 16 education unions across the UK, I bet you didn't even know there were 16 education unions in the UK, that's far too many. That's why 16 UK education unions are taking action today. I say this to you, ATL and indeed every other trade union in the TUC has been willing to negotiate for the last year since these proposals were first made. We have been talking, and yes, we want to go on talking. We are willing to do a deal. And friends, when you do a deal, that may mean a bit of compromise. But we need more from this government before we can even think of asking the public sector workers of this country whether what's on the table is worth having. This event and the hundreds of others around the country sends this message to the government. We did not want this strike. We hate the inconvenience to the people we serve, the young, the elderly, and the vulnerable, those doing jobs that nobody else wants. But we are determined. And let the message go out from Taunton. We need a lot more give and take from this government, or we shall not be moved.
Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, can I just say thank you to all of our speakers, both before and after this march. I think they've put the case over very well. Thank you very much to all of them. Secondly, can I echo what we've said before? We're not rampant militants, we're not whatever we've been put down to be by this government. Simple fact is, we're honest working people. We are prepared to discuss, we are prepared to negotiate, but not at any price and not be dictated to. Let's make sure when we go out today, that this demonstration is just the start. It's the start of discontinuous action. It's the start of every protest that we can muster to make this government and the people who are trying to rob us of our pensions, of our rights, and that of every working person in this country, let them know exactly how we feel, and we will say no. No until you negotiate properly, no until you actually come to the table, do it right, then we'll talk. But until then, you are not going to rob us of our pensions. You are not going to rob everybody else of their pensions. Thank you everybody for coming today. It's been a fantastic turnout. Let's keep it going.